And a very pleasant good morning. I'm here with Professor Margaret Perrow, and she has some wonderful Zoom tip information to share. First, welcome. Thank you for coming in.
Hi, Bill. Thanks for inviting me.
What is it you've got? I'm just going to kind of fade in the background and let's see what you can show us.
Okay, well, I'm really happy to share this little tip. It's super, super simple, and people may already be doing this, but I found it incredibly useful in the spring. I did it almost as an accident. I wanted a way to meet my students before class starts, as everybody does. And my rationale for doing this is that it's really important to me to build a learning community in the classroom. So how do you do that when you're Zooming? There's lots of ways. But this turned out to be really a good idea in the end for lots of reasons. So what I'm going to show you is how I did video introductions, or I had students do really short video introductions of themselves and how useful they were throughout the term, not only at the beginning of the term. So again, my rationale for this is to build learning community, not only between myself and my students, but amongst students as well. And it also gives me something to draw on when I'm working with students later. So knowing something about my students, about their strengths, is really helpful throughout the term. So that was another reason. And I think as I was thinking about this conversation and talking to you about it, another reason that this is such a powerful strategy is because of the particular prompt that I used. By asking students to think, to describe a strength of theirs or something that they enjoyed doing academically, I'm giving them an opportunity to think about what their strengths and qualities are, things that they can draw on both academically and after they leave SOU. And I think that's one of the purposes of an undergraduate education, really, and we don't always get to that. So just by asking students that simple question, causing them to think about it and share that with others, had all kinds of payoffs during the term. And it is something that I'll keep doing when we're not remote learning. It doesn't replace in-class introductions, but it certainly helped in this context. So that's the rationale for what I'm doing. I did use them. Obviously, I asked students to do it before the first class, and there was a reason for that for me, so that when we start the class, I already know something about everybody who's there. It worked. The class that I tried this on first was about 25 students, and that seemed to be the optimal size to do this with. You could certainly do it with more students, and you could review these introductions over the course of the term. It's not something you need to do all at once as an instructor. I guess what I'll show you is, I'll share my screen with you and
Righty.
show you how it works. Oh, I should say one other thing, and if you're editing this, you can edit this part out. But the other thing this worked really well for was for small group work during the term. We often do breakout rooms, we do group assignments, we do things, other people do that commonly, right? But if you're in a Zoom classroom and you don't know your fellow students, this is a really good way to get to know, for students to get to know who is in their small group before they start working together. So I would have them come back to these little introductions, watch them, they're very short, and then provide a quick response to the 2 or 3 or 4 people in their small group before they start working together. So they have a sense of who's in that group. So again, building community, whether it's big class community or small group community. So let me see if I can share this. Okay, so can you see my Moodle site here?
I see your English 315 page, yes.
This was a course, yeah, this was an English course, an upper division course in autobiographical writing and studies in autobiographical writing. So it was perfect for this particular activity, but I think it works for any class. So this is my front page. Where I put it was down here in week 1. So it was part of week 1 assignment. When we open this, we'll see it. So here's week 1. And I just called it Introducing Ourselves. Here's the actual assignment that students saw. And the benefit of this is that it's right inside Moodle. So this is not something students have to go outside of Moodle for.
Yes.
It's a lot like, if people are familiar with Flipgrid or things like that, it's a lot like that. In fact, but it's a little bit easier in the sense that it's already inside Moodle, already inside the discussion forum. You don't have to go anywhere for it or learn a different platform. In some ways, I think Flipgrid is better because it's more flexible and you can record longer videos and so on and so forth. But just for this kind of quick little introductory activity, doing it inside Moodle worked really, really well for me. So here's the instructions that students saw. I'd be happy to share this with you in paper or email it to you. But the video has to be less than 2 minutes long, and that's a restriction in the discussion forum in Moodle, which is a good thing. You don't want students going on and on forever. And for students who don't want to do video, they have the option of doing an audio recording and putting a still image of themselves up there. So this gives students flexibility. If they don't feel comfortable right away showing themselves on video, they could still do a little audio recording. And as you can see, my prompts were tell us your name, the name you like to be called in class, your pronouns, where you're spending spring term, because this was for a spring class, what you did over spring break. And then this is the key question, something you're good at doing or enjoy doing as a student. And that's the one that I found the most helpful. The other thing students need help with is the instructions, because they won't all know how to use the discussion forum in Moodle to post a video. So these are the instructions. It's in the advanced function, and as faculty, you'd want to try it yourself first, obviously. Then I had some additional instructions if they wanted more help. This is a link to the student instructions for Moodle, and the instructions for inserting images on Moodle if they wanted to do it as an audio with a still image. So here are the results. This is what students posted. Actually, I think I've loaded these here. So if I go here, we'll go down to the bottom. I posted one of myself first. Do you want me to play it, Bill? You can cut it out.
Sure. Let's go ahead and give it a shot.
Okay, so this is my video introduction to my students. Let's see if it works.
Hello, everyone. My name is Margaret Perrow. I'm looking forward to working with you this spring. You can call me Margaret or you can call me Dr. Perrow. I don't mind. Both of them work. And my pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm spending spring term here in the beautiful Applegate Valley at home. I'm looking out my window right now at the Red Butte Mountains. They're beautiful. They're covered in snow. Over spring break, I've been doing a little bit of running, and the best thing that happened was I got a brand new pair of blue trail running shoes. Academically, I guess the thing that I feel like I'm pretty good at is revising writing. I really like that experience of going back into something that made no sense in the beginning and seeing it take shape and make sense. I look forward to hearing from you all and seeing you on Monday in our first Zoom meeting.
So the audio quality, I mean, our internet's not great. That's the disadvantage of being out here in the beautiful Applegate. But you can see that what I tried to do was just provide a little bit of a model of the things that I'm asking students to do. And then I also asked, I had a TA in this class, Josh, who's here, and I asked him to provide the second example so that students had a couple things to look at. And that's really it. I do think the prompt is important, not just leaving it wide open to students to introduce themselves in any way they want. I mean, it's something that they can say something of their own choosing, but then having a particular question that everybody's addressing the same question really helped. And in this case, having it be something about a strength or a quality that relates to the class helped me, and I think it helped each other when they were working in groups. So again, super simple, and you can do it direct. I don't know, it's a little bit of a surprise to me how easy it was to do this right straight within Moodle in a discussion forum using that advanced feature. Again, it's not as flexible as Flipgrid or some of those other applications that you can use outside, but it's nice that it's right integrated into the Moodle site. People don't feel lost when they're doing it. You can also see here that students can leave replies for each other, and that could be an assignment that you give. And just like any discussion forum, if they click on discuss this topic, they can leave a reply for the student. They can leave a reply that's video or audio, or they can just type their reply. In this case, Stephanie got typed replies from her group members, but you can see that it functions just like a discussion forum in that sense. Okay,
nice.
That's it.
It sounds terrific. Could I impose on you to email me the prompt, and then we'll include it as a link in the program that way, because it sounds important. I want to make sure it gets out.
My prompt was specific to this class. Again, I think that this prompt about an academic strength cuts across all disciplines and is super useful. But you could also obviously make a prompt that's specific to the class. But yes, I'll share that with you as well as my directions. I had 100% of my students posted videos and 0 of them had problems. So I think that the directions were pretty clear.
Well done. Yeah, well, I just wondered if you were teaching this term.
Oh, yes, I'm around and teaching this term.
Well, good. Looking forward to it. Have an excellent term. Thank you, and I appreciate you sharing your work.
No problem. Thank you, Bill.